All right, now turning to our panel. With us, we have David Webb, SiriusXM Patriot radio host, and Fox News contributor Lisa Boothe, contributor at the Washington Examiner, Emily Shire, Bustle political editor, and Katherine Timpf, National Review reporter and Fox News contributor. Thanks to all of you for joining us. David, I'm going to miss the foundation. All those people. I mean, anyone who watches us know that has been my pet peeve, has been this corruption within the foundation. We saw so much of it come out through WikiLeaks, how many people gave money, and it seemed, I mean, if you believe their own internal report, with the quid pro quo expectation, now they're not going to get that. With the Clintons not in office.
There's been a lot of quid, and now they have to prove the pro. I have sources that I've spoken to inside DOJ, and I can tell you that the foundation's not going away. This is the big scandal, because there are actually charges for the selling of influence, using an office for gain. There's so many ways they can go after this, and it's a global political criminal operation. It's not going away anytime soon.
But, Lisa, this is a president-elect who just said he wants to bind the wounds of division. Might it not be the case, even though there was the lock her up at all of his rallies and everything, he spoke about how she was criminal, and do you think there might be a switch now, wanting to bind the wounds of division, that he might say, let bygones be bygones, as long as they don't break the law from here on, we're going to give them a pass?
Well, I think you'll let the law play itself out, right? Let the FBI investigation play itself out and see what the FBI ultimately decides to do with the Clinton Foundation. Let the Department of Justice then let the legal process fall suit as well. But what Melissa mentioned about the Clinton Foundation, this is the very reason why Donald Trump won in such a landslide, was because of the Drain the Swamp. Donald Trump has ran a campaign ultimately that is against Washington, D.C. Tonight, this was a mandate against the leftist policies that we've seen from President Obama, the corruption in Washington, D.C., and the dysfunctionality of Washington, D.C. as well. That is what we saw tonight. This was an absolute mandate on one of the largest scales we have seen in history in quite some time, from everything from the top down, from the White House, the Senate, and the House.
Kat, I mean, staying with that theme, it's more than just the left. I mean, this is really an indictment of the whole system in Washington. I would say on the right and the left. I mean, you think about the people that abandoned Donald Trump along the way, and I think that, you know, voters who voted for him saw that, and they don't want this same system that hasn't really served anyone, or hardly anyone.
Absolutely. I mean, normally, if a GOP candidate wins a presidency, it's a win for the GOP. But so many people in the GOP have increasingly turned against Trump or reluctantly decided to side with Trump, like Paul Ryan saying he'd be willing to campaign for Trump, 2 days ahead of the election. So this is like something we've never seen before, which I think is part of the reason why the polls were so wrong, because polls go to likely voters. And a lot of the people who voted for Trump maybe haven't voted in years and years and years, because who Trump is going to appeal to is not the typical voter. It's the voter that feels that they've been ignored. That was the whole appeal of Donald Trump.
Right.
Emily Shire, I want to bring you back to what I asked Blake Berman, because as a Hillary Clinton supporter, I would like you to sort of describe your own personal feelings, which probably mimic the feelings of a lot of Hillary supporters out there throughout the evening, beginning at around the 6 o'clock hour, when it seemed like Hillary had the upper hand.
Well, I just want to first say that I'm a politics editor and I don't identify as a supporter of either candidate. But definitely the polls were showing that Clinton was coming in with a strong lead, and you see people absolutely in a state of shock. And I think more than a state of shock because the polls were wrong, but because to the people who don't like Trump, it's not just simple partisan politics. This is a man who mocked people for having disabilities and didn't apologize. This is a man where a leader of the KKK just tweeted out, "Make no mistake, we played a huge role in Trump's victory." This goes beyond partisan politics, and I think the people who don't like Trump, which may be a strong minority, but a minority of the country, are really fearful. It's not that they just don't like his policies.
It sounds like you're not willing to bury the hatchet.
I think well, first of all, again, this is not me personally, how people are reacting.
But to bring up the KKK is, you just brought them up.
I think this is exactly why people are
denounced and rejected.
And to be fair,
and yet he still has a huge amount of
Did you not look at the map? Have you seen the map, though? Have you seen the map? No, but to be fair, this isn't just, this is the country just sent an absolute mandate, a complete rejection to Hillary Clinton and everything she represents.
The
fact that she is an establishment candidate, the fact that Washington, D.C. is broken, the fact that these policies have failed so many people, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's the loss of manufacturing jobs. I mean, this was an absolute mandate. So
I don't disagree with
I know, but the mantra that this is somehow a minority movement is just a complete lie.
No. What
I don't
I'm
think
saying
she
is that
said
the
that.
minority of voters who are against Hillary Clinton. I'm not arguing with the numbers. And by the way, I think people will do good, hard looking at the numbers to say, what does it mean that we elected Donald Trump as a country? No one is arguing that the majority of Americans elected Donald Trump. But I think his battle ahead in winning over the country, and I must say this, I think even his greatest critics hope that he can unify the country because there is a lot of healing to be done. That is what I'm seeing from people's reactions online, is that he has a tougher battle than a typical red and blue split because he has some very scary supporters.
What really unifies the country is success. Once you fix economic issues, once you give people a chance to actually get back in the game of earning, of becoming part of the growing economy in America, you start to solve other problems. The division is in large part in this country a part of what happens when you lose opportunity. And it's an important thing that we remember in this country, that when you grow the economy, when you grow the confidence, when you grow, bring it back to the Reagan, the shining city, the great example that we are as a country, that's when people begin to push other things aside and focus on what they can do to get better.
But she does have a good point. He is going to have to soothe the fears of people who are upset tonight, and I think that would be true on either side. But you're right. With the economy would be the best place to start.
But are there fears really of him or of a failed political class and an elitist system that has let the American people down? The rise of populism.
Hold that
thought, folks.
Donald Trump
All right. We're going to have a lot more. Nobody go anywhere. Lots of good thoughts.
By the way, former rival Ted Cruz has congratulated Donald Trump. He sent a statement, quote, "This election astonished the pundits. This was a change election. Americans voted for Republicans because of a promise to go to Washington to reverse our present course and end the Washington cartel, a promise to drain the swamp." Now is the time to follow through on those words with action. We cannot wait even one day to begin implementing a conservative agenda that fulfills those commitments. All right.
We'll see. There you go.
A wild night for the markets. So let's check out U.S. stock market futures. They were down, remember, about 800 points. That really turned around dramatically when we got word that Hillary Clinton had called Donald Trump to concede the election. In Europe, stocks just opened down about 2%. Now checking some key commodities, gold was way up. It had been up about $60. That's come down quite a bit now. I believe if we can show gold, it's in the $30 mark. Mexican peso, of course, that took one hell of a hit. Gold, by the way, is up $26. Still a substantial increase, but only about a third of what it was. And the Mexican peso is down, presumably because of that wall.
There you go. All right. Stay with us. We're going to have a lot more for you coming up.